Decoding dreams in Buddhism. Throughout the long history of humanity, from when people still lived in prehistoric caves, gazed up at the night sky, and wondered about their own existence, dreams have always been a great mystery. Each of us has, to some extent, experienced strange dreams. There are beautiful dreams that we long to linger in, and nightmares that jolt us awake in a cold sweat. And when we wake up, a natural question arises: why do we dream? This is not only a personal question, but also a philosophical, religious, and scientific problem pursued for thousands of years. People have tried to explain dreams from many different angles. Some civilizations regard dreams as messages sent by the gods to humans. Some philosophical schools hold that dreams are merely reflections of what happened during the day. Modern science sees dreams as a complex phenomenon of brain activity, where memory, emotion, and the subconscious blend into peculiar fragments. Yet from any perspective, dreams evoke astonishment. While we sleep, the body lies still, but the mind opens into another vivid world, full of images, sounds, and distinct emotions, sometimes so real that we mistake it for reality. So what are dreams? Are they illusions, or a hidden part of the mind? Since antiquity, philosophers have been concerned with dreams. The philosopher Plato said that in dreams, the true nature of the soul is revealed when it is no longer controlled by reason. Aristotle viewed dreams as a continuation of sensation, an echo of daytime images imprinted in the mind. The ancient Chinese told the story of Zhuangzi dreaming he became a butterfly. Upon waking, he wondered whether Zhuangzi had dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly was dreaming it was Zhuangzi. From this, he raised a bigger issue. The boundary between dream and reality is not at all certain. Indeed, life itself may be only a long dream. Philosophy poses the question: what is truly real? If in dreams we can feel joy and sorrow, pain or happiness, are those experiences any less real than those of waking life? Or are all things, from dream to waking, merely different layers of a single flowing consciousness? In the scriptures, the Buddha often used the image of a dream to illustrate the impermanent, non-self nature of all phenomena. He taught that life is like a dream. It appears and disappears. Nothing is everlasting. As in the Diamond Sutra, all conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow. This does not mean the Buddha denied reality, but that he wanted us to look directly at its fragile, composite nature. Like a dream, no matter how real it seems, everything dissolves upon waking. Life is the same. What we cling to today, wealth, fame, the body, emotions, will also dissipate like a dream. Contemplating in this way, we cling less and suffer less. In Buddhism, dreams are also seen as chances to illuminate the mind. The images in dreams come from nowhere else, but are expressions of mental formations and seeds within the storehouse consciousness. When we have nightmares, we know anger, fear, and anxiety still dwell in us. When we have beautiful dreams, we understand that faith and wholesome qualities are present. Thus, dreams become a mirror that helps us understand ourselves more clearly. Neuroscience today has studied dreams quite extensively. Researchers have found that during the REM stage of sleep, the brain is highly active, almost equivalent to wakefulness. This is when dreams occur most frequently. It is thought that dreams play roles in processing memory, organizing information, and even rehearsing for possible real-life situations. Some interesting hypotheses suggest that dreams help us link old memories with new experiences or serve as a mechanism for releasing pent-up emotions. Some studies even show that if people are prevented from dreaming by being repeatedly awakened at the onset of REM, their mental state later becomes disordered, stressed, and their ability to learn declines. However, science also admits that dreams remain an enigma, with no single theory providing a complete explanation. For this reason, dreams retain their aura of mystery, both familiar and remote. Some say dreams are mere illusions, unworthy of attention. Others notice that, in dreams, we live out profoundly authentic emotions: joy, sorrow, fear, or happiness. If so, dreams may not be real in a physical sense, but they are very real psychologically. They are an inseparable part of consciousness. In life, we often draw a strict line between reality and dream. But upon closer look, even while awake, we live in countless little dreams. Dreams of the future, dreams of the past, dreams of things yet to occur. We imagine, worry, and crave, and often dwell in these daydreams far longer than in the dreams of night. So what is dream, and what is real? One could say that dreams are a doorway through which we can contemplate the nature of consciousness. They remind us that the mind is not a fixed entity, but is always in motion and transformation. In dreams, the mind can create an entire world. When awake, it fashions another world. If we approach dreams with mindfulness, without hasty judgment or attachment, then dreams become valuable lessons. They teach us about impermanence, about the mind's constructing activity, and about the possibility of awakening. Thus, when we ask, why do people dream? Perhaps the most important answer does not lie in what dreams are for in a scientific sense, but in what dreams reveal about ourselves. Each dream, if we know how to reflect, is an opportunity to understand our mind more deeply, to take one step closer to awakening. Having laid the groundwork with this timeless question about dreams, we can go deeper into the forms that people commonly encounter in everyday life. Whether science or religion offers different explanations, individual experience always remains intimate and immediate. We lie down, close our eyes, and dreams come naturally like a secret film projected behind the curtain of night. If we observe carefully, we will see that dreams are not random, but often fall into certain characteristic patterns that directly reflect what has been imprinted in mind and body. Some nights we dream that we have returned to school, a place long left behind. In the dream we sit in class, anxious because we have not finished an exam. Waking up, we are startled to realize that it happened many years ago. We are no longer students. This is the type of dream that reflects memory. Once memories are engraved in the brain, they do not disappear entirely. They lie dormant like seeds in the soil, and, when conditions are right, they sprout and live again in dreams. Therefore, these dreams often carry familiar hues tied to past experiences. They show that the human mind never truly lets go of the past, but always stores it and can re-present it at any time. In a certain sense, dreams are the mind's way of showing us that we are still connected to those memories, sometimes through anxiety, sometimes through joy. Another type consists of dreams arising from unresolved emotions. These are often heavy dreams, sometimes nightmares. A person burdened with worries at work may dream of being chased, bound, or lost in a maze. Someone who has just suffered a loss may dream that a deceased loved one returns, calling their name in the night. In such dreams, they are given a chance to express emotions that, in daylight, because of reason or social pressures, they dare not reveal. The mind is like a river. Emotions that are dammed up will find a way to flow. Dreams are the doorway through which those currents can escape, sometimes tumultuous, sometimes gentle. Mindfulness practice helps us realize that no emotion disappears just by being pushed down. They always find a way to reappear, even in dreams. Therefore, these dreams become a sign that we need to return, face, and embrace that emotion in awareness, instead of letting it surge up unconsciously. There are also dreams that seem meaningless, random, without beginning or end. We find ourselves stepping into a strange room, then suddenly on a boat, and after that it turns into a bizarre chase full of scattered fragments. This is the dream as a kind of neural stirring during rest. Scientists say that when we sleep, the brain still works to sort memories and data. In that process, certain images, sounds, and scraps of memory are connected in a spontaneous way, forming strange stories without logic. In those moments, our mind is like an improvisational artist, picking up bits of wood and shards of glass and piecing them into a peculiar picture. Although meaningless in content, these dreams also serve a function. They are evidence that the brain is doing its own housekeeping, filtering, and healing. The chaos in the dream is in fact a kind of balance for the waking mind. Seen through the lens of practice, each type of dream carries its own message. Memory dreams remind us of what we have not yet let go of, which may be a cherished affection or a haunting fixation. Emotional dreams point to what we still keep hidden, the fears or desires not yet recognized. Disordered dreams give us a chance to smile lightly, to to see that the mind does not always need to be reasonable, but can freely juggle like a child at play. From these three types, we learn to view dreams not merely as the unconscious at play, but as a mirror reflecting the many layers of the mind. In daily life, many people attach omens to dreams. Seeing a snake brings worry, losing teeth brings fear, flying brings joy. But if we place those experiences under the light of everyday classification, we can approach them more gently. Seeing a snake may simply be a memory of a real-life encounter. Dreaming of losing teeth may reflect anxiety about aging. Flying may simply be the brain testing the sensation of freedom. When we understand this, we are no longer bound by dreams, but use them as a doorway to understand ourselves better. What is precious is that, regardless of type, dreams open the door to awakening. Waking from a memory dream, we can quietly ask, have I truly released the past? Waking from an emotional dream, we can recognize what we are holding in our heart that we have never acknowledged. Waking from a chaotic dream, we can smile. The mind is only waves passing by, nothing to take too seriously. Each time we wake is a chance to step out of a small layer of dream. If we contemplate more deeply, we will see that even this life is like a long dream, where memories, emotions, and fragments of the world are joined into the story we call life. Dreams are therefore not a distant realm, but a continuation of life itself. They are the voice of memory, the expression of emotion, the play of a resting brain. When we learn to recognize each type of dream, we gradually see the links between sleep and waking life. Then each dream is no longer merely an unconscious experience, but a vivid lesson that brings us closer to the path of awakening. Entering Buddhist teachings, we see that dreams are no longer only a psychological or neurological phenomenon, but become a potent symbol for contemplating the nature of life. The Buddha and the scriptures repeatedly mention dreams as a metaphor to help us see the fragility, composite nature, and impermanence of all phenomena. In the Diamond Sutra, there is a familiar passage. All conditioned phenomena are like a dream, an illusion, a bubble, a shadow, like dew, or a flash of lightning. Thus should you contemplate them. Here, the dream is placed alongside bubbles on a river, morning dew, and a lightning flash. They appear and then vanish, leaving no lasting trace. In this way, the scriptures use the image of dream to say that everything in life, no matter how solid it seems, is as fragile as a night's dream. This does not mean that Buddhism denies the existence of the world, but rather emphasizes its impermanent nature. Like a dream, while dreaming, we see everything vividly: sounds, images, emotions. We may laugh, cry, fear, or feel pain in the dream. But upon waking, everything dissolves, leaving only a vague aftertaste. Life is the same. We are living, loving, suffering, struggling. All of it is real in this moment. But when death comes, or when conditions change, they vanish in an instant, leaving an emptiness as if nothing had ever been. Dreams are a mirror that helps us understand that nothing in life is permanent. From there, we see that dreams in Buddhism serve as a reminder. Whenever we think of dreams, we can ask ourselves, are the things I am holding truly durable? Will the pains I bear last forever? The answer is no. All phenomena are like dreams. They come and go, gather and disperse. Seeing this clearly, we cling less to gains and losses, to winning and losing, and we suffer less when faced with separation. But Buddhism does not stop at comparing dreams to impermanence. The masters also remind us that seeing in dreams and seeing when awake both require the same contemplation. When we are dreaming, the realms appear vivid and we believe they are real. When we wake, we think this is the real reality, and the dream is only an illusion. But if we contemplate deeply, we see that the difference between dream and waking is not in essence, but in duration. Dreams are brief. Waking life lasts longer, but both are realms created by the mind. There is a story in Chinese Zen. A Zen master asked a disciple, "You just dreamed you were beaten. In the dream, did it hurt?" The disciple replied, "It truly hurt." The master asked again, "When you woke up, where did that pain go?" The disciple fell silent. The story shows that in a dream the pain is as real as when awake, but when conditions change, it vanishes without a trace. This reality is the same. What we take to be real will one day disappear like a dream just ended. Therefore, when we look at dreams in the light of the Dharma, we learn an attitude of neither dismissing nor clinging. We do not dismiss them because dreams reflect the mind and give us the chance to understand ourselves. We do not cling because dreams are impermanent like all other phenomena. This balanced attitude is the key to living mindfully. Some practitioners use dreams as a means of cultivation. They practice recognizing that they are dreaming, not letting themselves be swept away. Just as in meditation, we recognize wandering thoughts without following them. When they know they are dreaming, they still see the scenes arising but do not cling, do not fear. This is a form of mindfulness within the dream. The message is clear. If we can be awake even in dreams, then we can be awake in this life that is flowing by like a dream. Contemplating dreams also helps us look back at everyday life. We often chase after work, money, and fame, thinking these are solid. But looking back, how many things in our life have dissolved like dreams? A house we were once attached to, a love once etched in our bones, a worry we thought we could never overcome. All have passed, leaving only faint memories. Seeing this clearly, we learn to live more lightly, to cherish the present without bondage, to love without possessing. Perhaps that is why, in Dharma talks, many Zen teachers often refer to dreams as a metaphor for opening the mind. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "This life is like a dream. Live in such a way that when the dream dissolves, you smile because you have awakened, not weep because you have sleepwalked." That reminder is simple yet profound. Do not only wake up from the night's dream, wake up from the dream of everyday delusion. Thus, in the Buddhist view, dreams are not for divining good or bad omens, but to remind us that everything is impermanent and without self-nature. The dream is a symbol that helps us practice letting go of attachment so we can live more freely. Most importantly, dreams remind us that any mode of seeing requires contemplation. The seeing in a dream and the seeing when awake are both products of the mind. Recognizing this, we make fewer distinctions, cling less stubbornly, and move closer to true seeing, a seeing beyond dreaming and waking, beyond birth and death. Having looked at dreams through philosophical and Buddhist lenses, let us return to a scientific question. What exactly happens in the brain when we dream? For a long time, neuroscientists have devoted great effort to studying this phenomenon. They place volunteers in laboratories, attach electrodes, measure brain waves, record eye movements, heart rate, and breathing. Then they discover a strange world. While the body rests, the brain remains highly active, creating the experiences we call dreams. Human sleep has several stages, but the most distinctive is REM, short for rapid eye movement. This is the time when our eyes dart back and forth beneath closed lids, as if watching a movie inside. Astonishingly, during this stage the brain operates almost as it does when awake. Brain waves become fast and complex, heart rate and breathing fluctuate. The whole body is effectively switched off to keep us from acting out the dream. It is in this peculiar state that the most vivid dreams arise. Scientists have found that during REM, brain regions related to emotion and memory are especially lively. The hippocampus, which stores long-term memory, is activated. The amygdala, the center for processing emotions, especially fear, also lights up. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of reason and logic, decreases its activity. This explains why in dreams we often feel intense emotions, yet fail to notice the absurdity of situations. We can fly, meet the deceased, or step from one room into a distant desert in the blink of an eye. And we believe it is real because reason is temporarily at rest. Another interesting point is that during REM the brain seems to rehearse for life situations. When we dream of being chased, the body still activates the stress response. The heart races, sweat beads as if danger were real. Some researchers suggest this is an evolutionary strategy that lets humans practice survival responses in a safe environment. Thus, when real situations arise, we react more swiftly. One could say that in dreams the brain plays, learns, and heals at once. Not all dreams are pleasant, however. Harsh nightmares, feeling hunted, falling from great heights, or losing loved ones can jolt us awake in panic. Yet even such nightmares are seen by science as having an important function. They help release pin-up anxiety or rehearse coping strategies for danger. In fact, if a person never dreams or never experiences REM, they are more prone to mental disorders, depression, and memory impairment. This shows that dreams, whether sweet or nightmarish, are an essential part of mental life. Even so, science still faces many mysteries. Modern devices can record images of brain waves, but cannot explain why the brain selects those particular images and narratives for dreams. Some people dream of the future, some dream of messages from loved ones, some dream of extraordinary experiences as if living in another world. Science calls this neural randomness. But such an explanation does not fully satisfy us, because dream experiences feel too real and meaningful to the individual to be dismissed as mere neuron games. There is one truth acknowledged by both scientists and meditative practitioners. Dreams reflect the mind's deep activity. Whether we call it memory, emotion, or the subconscious, dreams are where hidden contents are revealed. The body sleeps, but the mind continues to flow like an underground river. Dreams lift the veil on inner movements that we often overlook during the day. So, from the lens of mindfulness, what can we learn from dream science? First, know that dreaming is natural, a part of life. We need not panic or become superstitious. Each time we wake from a dream, instead of rushing to forget, we can pause briefly and note the emotions we just experienced. If it was worry, breathe slowly and recognize that you carry unresolved burdens in your heart. If it was joy, smile and nurture that positive energy into the new day. In this way, we turn the dream into a practice, a mirror that illuminates the soul. Science can continue its research and will surely discover more. But the important thing is not merely decoding dreams with theories. It is how we live after we dream. Dreams give us the chance to realize that the mind never truly rests. It operates ceaselessly, even when we think we are sleeping soundly. And if we shine mindfulness on that ongoing current, we see a simple truth. Dreams and life are not so different. Both are the mind's flow, mysterious yet familiar, fragile yet worthy of deep appreciation. When we look deeply into dreams, something obvious emerges. The mind creates the scene. We already see this in daily life. When we are happy, the same landscape looks clear and bright. When we are sad, even a blue sky turns gloomy. Dreams are the same. They do not come from outside, nor from divine arrangement, but from the mind's reflection. The realms in dreams are products of seeds sown in the storehouse consciousness, activated and manifest when conditions are right. A person filled with fear often dreams of being chased, falling, or losing their way. A person brimming with love may dream of soaring across the sky, meeting a departed relative, or strolling through a peaceful garden. These images are not random. They are manifestations of deep states of mind. Like water mirroring the clouds, the mind reflects memories, emotions, aspirations, and fears. Therefore, dreams do not foretell the future. They reveal the inner state of the present. Many people wonder, I dreamt of losing something. Does that mean bad luck is coming? Or I dreamed of meeting the Buddha. Does that mean good fortune is near? Under the light of mindfulness, we can see differently. Dreaming of loss does not necessarily portend disaster. It may reflect inner insecurity about scarcity or fear of losing. Dreaming of meeting the Buddha is not a cue for self-satisfaction that blessings are on the way. It may show that faith and a longing for goodness are growing within. In other words, the dream points out what we are thinking, fearing, or hoping for at the deepest layer of the mind right now. Reading dreams through the lens of mindfulness, we no longer ask whether they are good or bad omens, but instead ask, what does this dream show me about my mind? When we see ourselves dreaming of running away, we can pause and breathe, recognizing that there is a fear of being pursued within us. It may be work pressure or the weight of others' expectations. When we see ourselves dreaming of flying, we can recognize a liberating energy in the mind, a longing to transcend limitations. When we see fragmented, chaotic dreams, we can look into them and see that our mind is scattered and needs to be gathered back into mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us neither to cling nor to reject. When a dream appears, we simply observe without hastily labeling it as good or bad. Do not rush after a beautiful dream, and do not be overly afraid of a nightmare. Instead, Regard the dream as a mirror. It does not tell us what the future will be, but it helps us see who we are and where our mind is. Just as when we look into a mirror, we do not believe the image is someone else, but use it to know our real face. Today, reading dreams with mindfulness also means knowing how to let go. After reflecting, let the dream drift away like a leaf floating down a river. If we cling to it, analyze it, and interpret it excessively, we unintentionally create a new layer of dreaming on top of the old one. A dream is only a fleeting phenomenon. If we grasp it, it becomes a chain. If we look at it with an awakened mind, it becomes a lesson. There are practitioners who have used dreams as a method of contemplation. Each morning when they wake up, they write down what they have just seen, then sit quietly and breathe gently to recognize the emotion behind the dream. This approach is not meant to analyze like a psychologist, but to live more deeply with oneself. A recurring dream may show that something within us has not yet been healed. An unexpected dream may remind us of an aspect of the soul that has been forgotten. All of these are opportunities to return to recognition and loving embrace. Especially when we understand the dream as a symbol of the mind, we see that daytime life is no different. The scenes we encounter and the people we meet are like images in dreams, reflections of our own mind. A person filled with anger sees enemies everywhere. A person filled with compassion sees opportunities to love wherever they look. Thus, waking life is also a great dream in which the mind creates the scene, and every experience is a mirror that helps us see ourselves clearly. In this way, the greatest meaning of reading dreams with mindfulness is not to satisfy curiosity, but to open the door to awakening. Each dream is a reminder to return to ourselves and see clearly how our mind is operating. Understanding this, we move through life more lightly and with less confusion, for we know that both dreaming and waking are only waves that rise and fall on the surface of the lake of consciousness. Humans do not only dream and sleep, but often dream while awake. Attachment to dreams is clear evidence of this. Upon waking, instead of letting go, many people carry the dream into daytime life. If they dream of a bad sign, they feel restless all day, fearing impending disaster. If they dream of something good, they feel elated, hoping for luck to arrive. A dream is only a fleeting phenomenon, yet the mind clings to it and grants it more influence than reality itself. We can easily see this in folk culture. People go to interpret dreams, check lottery numbers, and seek fortune tellers for omens. A dream becomes the sign that dictates one's mood, even one's actions. Someone dreams of loss and then avoids traveling. Someone dreams of gold and silver and then harbors greed, waiting for windfall. Thus, a transient, illusory event becomes a real burden that binds the mind. This is precisely attachment, grasping what is not worth grasping. The Buddha repeatedly reminded us that dream images are composites. Composite means they have no self-nature, arising from many conditions coming together. A dream is the convergence of memories, emotions, brain activity, and long-held seeds of the subconscious. There is no single real entity behind the dream that is in command, yet we believe it as if it were a certain sign. It is like mistaking a shadow on the wall for reality, forgetting that the shadow comes from light and form. The trap of attachment lies not in the dream, but in our attitude. If we cling, even a happy dream becomes suffering. The person who dreams of gaining money wakes up disappointed, heavy-hearted upon realizing it was only a dream. The person who dreams of a loved one returning wakes up with doubled sorrow when they see the lost remains. Conversely, if we have a nightmare, the fear lingers all day and exhausts body and mind. Thus, what makes us suffer is not the dream itself, but our clinging to it. Mindfulness practice invites us to look at dreams with a spirit of letting go. Letting go does not mean denial or contempt. It means recognizing the nature of a dream so as not to be dragged along by it. Upon waking, we can quietly say, "That was only a dream," then breathe in and out, feel the body lying on the bed, the light shining through the window, the birds singing in the yard. This present reality is where we need to return. A dream is a passing guest that comes and goes. We can smile, greet it, and release it to dissolve. Some Zen masters teach that our attitude toward dreams is a mirror of our attitude toward life. Life is also like a dream, arising and passing, joy and sorrow, full of illusory scenes. If we can let go of dreams, we can learn to let go in life. Those who cling tightly to joy will suffer when joy passes. Those who hold on to sorrow will suffer when sorrow returns. Only when we know how to release and allow things to flow naturally do we find true freedom. Practicing the letting go of dreams can begin with small steps. Each morning upon waking, instead of rushing to retell a dream as an important story, we can spend a few minutes breathing mindfully. Ask ourselves, what emotion does this dream evoke in me? Then simply note it, without clinging. If it is worry, smile in recognition and breathe out to lighten it. If it is joy, cherish it, but also let it go like a leaf drifting downriver. This attitude gradually trains us in equanimity, preventing the mind from being pulled by illusions. Letting go does not mean we become indifferent. On the contrary, we live more deeply. When we do not cling, we have space to view the dream as a mirror and return to care for the mind. A nightmare shows that we still have fears that have not been embraced. A beautiful dream shows that we are nurturing hope and love. Recognize, smile, and let go. That is how a dream becomes a practice, not a chain. And then, once we become accustomed to letting go of dreams, we will find that daytime life also feels lighter. A compliment, a glance, an incident, all are like scenes in a dream, coming and going. Seeing this clearly, we can live more freely, not overly swayed by praise or blame, gain or loss. That serene mind is the fruit of practice. Thus, dreams and attachment are a reminder. Suffering does not come from the dream, but from clinging. When we learn to view dreams with a letting go mind, we are learning to live in the world with equanimity. And perhaps that is the deepest message dreams leave for each person's path of awakening. In the world of dreams, there are special phenomena that go beyond simply lying still and seeing scenes. One of these is sleepwalking. Sleepwalking occurs when the body continues to move, even performing complex actions, while consciousness is still asleep. A sleepwalker may get out of bed, walk around the house, even open doors, climb stairs, and carry out familiar tasks like cooking or tidying. In some cases, they can go outside, drive, or engage in dangerous actions and remember nothing upon waking. This is evidence that sleep and consciousness are not a simple state, but a broad spectrum with many layers, where body and mind do not always move together. Sleepwalking usually occurs in deep, non-REM sleep, different from the vivid dreams that typically appear in REM. The body is partially aroused while consciousness remains submerged in sleep. The result is a half-awake, half-dreaming state, acting by habit without the guidance of reason. This shows that the body has its own memory, a kind of muscle memory stored in the nervous system. It operates even when conscious awareness is absent. Thus, sleepwalking is not only a strange phenomenon, but also reveals that life has many deep layers, not wholly dependent on alert will. However, the phenomenon we wish to emphasize in contemplative practice is lucid dreaming, knowing that one is dreaming. This is also called a lucid dream, or clear dream. In this state, the dreamer is still asleep, but a part of consciousness is awakened. They recognize that all the scenes appearing are only a dream. And that very recognition opens a special possibility. They can influence the dream, adjust their actions, even change the setting. For example, when caught in a nightmare of being chased, if we know we are dreaming, we can stop, turn around to face the pursuer, and even ask, "Who are you within my mind?" That question can cause the nightmare to dissolve or transform into a healing experience. Others use lucid dreaming to fly, to create, to explore the inner world. But most importantly, lucid dreaming gives us an exceedingly precious lesson. Conscious awareness can be present even in a dream. And if in dreams we can still be awake, then in everyday life, filled with its own daydreams, we can practice wakefulness all the more. The difference between ordinary dreams and lucid dreams is precisely the presence of mindfulness. In ordinary dreams, we are completely swept up in the realm, believing it to be real. We cry when meeting a deceased loved one. We tremble when being hunted. We rejoice when finding gold and silver. The mind fully identifies with the scene and loses its freedom. But in a lucid dream, right in the midst of the scene, there is still a gap in which we recognize this is only a dream. That small moment of knowing changes the entire experience. Fear decreases, freedom increases, and we begin to have the ability to choose our response. In the Dharma, this corresponds to contemplative practice in waking life. When we are angry, we are often swept away. We identify with the anger and say or do things beyond our control. That is ordinary dreaming. But if, right in the midst of anger, we can breathe and recognize, I am angry, this is only a mental formation arising and passing. That is lucid dreaming. That knowing helps us stop identifying with the emotion and prevents the emotion from taking charge. Thus, lucid dreaming in sleep becomes a vivid metaphor for awakening in life. From the standpoint of practice, lucid dreaming can be a precious gate. Some meditation practitioners, when their minds have been trained, naturally have lucid dreams. They know they are dreaming and use the opportunity to contemplate and face deep-rooted seeds. Some people, thanks to lucid dreaming, dissolve a fear that lasted for years. Others, thanks to lucid dreaming, strengthen faith and mental clarity. And they all share one point. They recognize that the capacity for awakening is not limited by day or night, waking or sleeping. Of course, not everyone can easily have lucid dreams. Most of us fall straight into ordinary dreaming. But just like daytime mindfulness, lucid dreaming can be nurtured through practice. Some simple methods include, before sleeping, planting a reminder in the mind. When I dream, I will know I am dreaming. Or after waking, regularly recalling the dream to train recognition. Over time, that seed will sprout, and at some moment in a dream, we will recognize the unreality of the realm. That is when lucid dreaming appears. What matters is not what we do in a lucid dream, but what we learn from it. The message of lucid dreaming is clear. Luminous awareness can be present anywhere, anytime, even in the most illusory world. If so, then in life, when facing work, family, and hardship, we can bring that light in as well. With just a second's pause, a deep breath, a simple knowing, we can step from ordinary dreaming to lucid dreaming, from delusion to awakening. One could say that sleepwalking shows us that body and mind do not always synchronize, while lucid dreaming shows us the mind's capacity for awakening right within the dream. One reminds us of the mystery of life. The other opens a path of practice. And if we use both phenomena for contemplation, we will see that sleep is not only a place of rest, but also part of the journey of enlightenment. In the end, the essence remains this. Lucid dreaming is not to gratify curiosity or adventure, but a living metaphor for wakefulness in each moment. If in dreams we can know we are dreaming, then in life we can also know that we are living amid countless small dreams. Dreams of fame, dreams of wealth, dreams of winning and losing. And then, with just a touch of awareness, everything lightens, as if a door opened onto a vast sky of freedom. In earlier sections, we mentioned the concept of lucid dreaming, knowing that one is dreaming. In the West, this phenomenon is called lucid dream, meaning a clear or awakened dream. This is a phenomenon recognized by science. While dreaming, a part of consciousness remains present, helping us realize that the realm we are experiencing is not reality. This is entirely different from ordinary dreams, in which we are swept away and believe everything to be real. The concept of lucid dream has long fascinated both scientists and spiritual practitioners. When consciousness is present in a dream, we are no longer merely passive characters. We can actively observe and even guide the dream's progression. Those who experience lucid dream often describe a sense of freedom as if stepping into a parallel world where all physical limits vanish. They can fly, walk through walls, and converse with symbols of deep consciousness. Beyond those wondrous experiences, however, lucid dream offers an important practice value, the chance to cultivate mindfulness even in sleep. In daily life, mindfulness means we are clearly aware of each moment, knowing we are breathing, walking, eating, knowing we are angry or joyful. In a dream, mindfulness appears as the recognition, I am dreaming, a simple knowing, yet one with tremendous transformative power. The instant that sentence arises in the mind, fear dissolves and passivity yields to mastery. That is the essence of mindfulness, bringing the light of wakefulness into every realm, day or night, real or dream. The first application of lucid dream is healing. In nightmares, we are often forced into passivity, fear, and suffering. But when awake within the dream, we can change our response. Instead of running, we stop, breathe, and look straight at the pursuer. Many people report that when they do this, the villain suddenly turns friendly or vanishes immediately, because in truth it is merely the embodiment of our inner fear. When we are lucid enough to face it, it loses its power. Thus, long-standing nightmares can be resolved, lightening the heart even in daytime life. The second application is training mental mastery. In a lucid dream, we can rehearse behaviors or situations we hesitate to face by day. Someone afraid of crowds can practice speaking before hundreds in a dream. Someone seeking to cultivate compassion can practice embracing and caring for figures that symbolize inner pain. Like a safe laboratory, lucid dream gives us opportunities to practice without fear of consequences. The result is that, back in waking life, we feel more confident and less driven by reactivity. Beyond this, some practitioners use lucid dream as a means of deep contemplation. In the dream, once they know they are dreaming, they sit quietly, follow the breath, and watch the scenes gradually dissolve. That experience yields a direct seeing. All phenomena are mind-made, lacking inherent self-nature. It is the lesson of impermanence realized right within the dream. For them, lucid dream is not a mental game, but a small doorway to liberating wisdom. However, attaining lucid dream is not easy. It requires training and a mind that stays alert even in ordinary life. Some recommended methods include, before sleep, plant a reminder such as, when I dream, I will know I am dreaming. During the day, frequently ask, am I dreaming or awake? To cultivate the habit of recognition, upon waking, write down the dream to strengthen memory and sensitivity to the dream world. With steady practice, the seed of wakefulness will gradually grow, and one day, right within the dream, it will spring up. It will spring up. Ah, this is only a dream. What needs stressing is that lucid dream should not become a goal to satisfy curiosity or a thirst for adventure. If we only want to dream in order to fly and indulge in strange sensations, we fall once again into attachment. What matters more is to use lucid dream as a practice vehicle for healing, for understanding our own mind, for training the capacity to be awake. With this attitude, each lucid dream becomes a practice as valuable as a session of sitting meditation. On a deeper level, lucid dream offers a powerful message. If within a dream we can still be awake, then in a life that is itself like a long dream, we can be awake as well. Daily life is filled with small dreams. Dreams of fame, wealth, love, and hatred. We often drown in them, forgetting that all is a confluence of conditions, coming and going. If we practice mindfulness, we will be like in a lucid dream. Even amidst an illusory realm, we keep a lamp lit so we do not lose our way. Thus, practicing awakened dreaming is not merely a nighttime experience, but a lesson for the whole day. It reminds us that lucid awareness can be present anytime, anywhere. And once we have touched that capacity in dreams, we will have strong confidence that awakening in ordinary life is entirely feasible. The moment just after waking from sleep is always special. It is brief, yet full of marvels. The mind has just stepped out of the dream world. The body begins returning to waking life, and consciousness is in an in-between state, not fully clear, yet no longer fully submerged in the unconscious. If we know how to seize it, that moment can become a deep practice, opening a new day in peace and wakefulness. Commonly, many people open their eyes and immediately grab the phone to check messages, email, or the latest news. Some spring up the moment they wake, worrying about the day's work or recalling yesterday's unfinished business. In this way, the mind, not yet recovered, is instantly swept into the whirl of concerns. But if we look closely, we will see that right after sleep the mind is very supple and impressionable, like a still lake. This is a wonderful time to sow seeds of mindfulness. Also, the threshold between dream and waking is special in that we can often remember the dream just experienced. Once we step into the whirl of the new day, that memory usually fades quickly. Therefore, morning is the best time to remember and contemplate the dream, not to divine omens, but to listen to the inner voice. What did the dream just past reflect in our mind? Does it show fear, craving, or some faith we are nurturing? Jotting down just a few lines already gives us a mirror for the soul. A simple practice is to keep a notebook and pen by the bed. When you open your eyes, before doing anything else, write down the fragments you still recall from the dream. No need for completeness or polished sentences, just a few images, a few feelings. Then sit quietly for a moment, breathe, and look at what the dream is showing you. Perhaps it is only a random fragment. Perhaps it is a deep message from the psyche. Either way, remembering and contemplating help us cultivate the ability to understand ourselves. Alongside recording the dream, more important still is practicing mindfulness the very moment we wake. Only 3 breaths, but if taken in awareness, they can be the foundation for the whole day. Upon opening the eyes, instead of leaping up, we can remain still, clearly aware. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. Breathing in, feel the whole body that has just slept. Breathing out, relax the whole body and smile. Breathing in, know that a new day has begun. Breathing out, vow to live this day in wakefulness. 3 breaths may seem brief, yet they can carry us from the vague world to the clear one, from the unconscious to conscious awareness. Many practitioners have shared that thanks to practicing 3 breaths in the morning, their day feels much lighter. In that first moment, they intentionally establish a foundation of mindfulness, like a musician tuning the strings before playing. 3 breaths are how we retune the mind before stepping into the music of a new day. If the strings are loose or too tight, the sound will be off. If the mind is still agitated, the day is easily filled with unease. But if the strings are just right, if the mind is placed in mindfulness from the start, everything afterwards flows more harmoniously. This practice is even more valuable when we remember that morning is a time when the body and mind are still fresh. A new day is like a blank sheet of paper, and we can write anything upon it. If we begin with haste, the whole day is likely to be swept into stress. If we begin with 3 mindful breaths, the entire day will be nourished by peace. Like a seed sown into fertile soil, what we sow in the morning is what will blossom that day. Moreover, waking up is a deep contemplation of life and death. In the scriptures, sleep is often likened to a small death, and waking is a rebirth. Each morning when we open our eyes, we truly have a chance to be born again. If we are aware of this, gratitude will arise. We feel grateful because we still breathe, we still live, and we still have a new day to love and to practice. From that gratitude, we live the new day with more mindfulness, without wasting it as in days past. Of course, we do not always remember to practice. Sometimes we open our eyes and rush straight into the bustle. Do not blame yourself for that. Remembering even once in 10 times is already progress. Each time we remember, the seed of mindfulness grows a little more, and gradually it becomes a habit. As soon as we open our eyes, we naturally breathe and naturally smile. That is the sign of maturity in practice. Thus, being mindful upon waking is not merely a technique, but an art of living. It helps us connect the 2 worlds of dream and waking with the thread of mindfulness. It gives us a chance to listen to our dreams, understand our mind, and step into the new day with clarity. More importantly, it reminds us that every morning is a precious opportunity to begin again, to live fully, to nourish peace. If we cherish that moment, our life will gradually become a chain of mindful days, beginning with each breath, each dawn. Looking more deeply into dreams, we find a subtle and important factor: karma. In Buddhist teaching, karma is action of body, speech, and mind planted in the past and present and stored as imprints in the storehouse consciousness. These imprints sometimes appear in waking life through the circumstances and relationships we meet, and sometimes they manifest in dreams. In this sense, dreams can be reflections of old karma, things we have sown and not yet transformed. Some people frequently experience nightmares. They dream of violence, war, being hunted, or betrayal. Looking deeply, we may see that their minds contain much energy of anger, jealousy, or fear. That anger karma has been nourished for a long time. A hurtful word, a relationship filled with resentment, or even painful memories from childhood. By day, reason and social layers may suppress it, but at night, when conscious control loosens, that karma rises up as vivid images. Those nightmares are mirrors of their minds, a bell reminding them that there are seeds of insecurity in need of transformation. Likewise, those who cultivate compassion, who regularly practice loving and letting go, tend to have gentle dreams. They may dream of walking in a green garden, meeting loved ones with a peaceful smile, or soaring in a wide open sky. This is not a lucky sign coming from elsewhere. It is the natural fruit of wholesome karma ripening. When the mind is at peace, dreams are also peaceful. This demonstrates the intimate link between karma and dreams. If we understand this connection, we will see that dreams are not a random game of the brain, nor merely memories or symbols. They are also an opportunity to contemplate karma. Each time we wake from a dream, instead of anxiously seeking interpretations, we can sit quietly and ask, what does this dream reflect in my mind? What seeds have I sown, and am I sowing now, that creates such a realm? In this way, dreams become a karmic mirror that helps us recognize and transform. For example, if someone often dreams of falling from a height with panic, perhaps their mind is burdened with insecurity and lacks a firm foothold in life. That fear karma is reflected in the dream. Recognizing this, they can practice building stability in the present, caring for the breath, trusting themselves, and creating wholesome life conditions. Gradually, the nightmare will vanish because the old karma has been transformed. Or if a person often dreams of quarrels and disputes, it may be that in daily life they nourish unwholesome speech and thoughts. Knowing this, they can begin to practice right speech, speak lovingly, avoid arguments, and cultivate listening. Even a small change in waking life can transform the night's dreams, because new karma planted will gradually replace the old. It is important not to understand karma as punishment. Karma is simply the natural result of the seeds we sow. Plant a mango seed and a mango tree sprouts. Plant a chili seed and a chili plant grows. If we have sown seeds of anger, we will reap anxiety in dreams and in life. If we sow seeds of compassion, we will reap peace in dreams and in life. Understanding this, we no longer blame or fear. We return to sow new seeds through mindfulness practice. Contemplating karma through dreams can be very simple. Each morning after waking, sit quietly for a few minutes, recall the dream just past, and breathe deeply. Ask yourself, what emotions did I experience in that dream? Joy, sadness, fear, or ease? Then note how these emotions relate to daily life. If you dreamed of anger, look back to see if something yesterday triggered that energy. If you dreamed of happiness, remember the wholesome deeds you did. Gradually, you will clearly see the connection between actions, karma, and dreams. Such contemplation helps us mature in real life. We learn that if we do not wish to have nightmares, it is not enough to pray for a quiet sleep. We need to live a clean life, nourish a kind heart, and reduce anger. If we want peaceful dreams, let us plant many wholesome seeds, practice letting go, speak lovingly, and love ourselves and others. Dreams will change according to the mind, and the mind will change according to actions. This is the natural circle of cause and effect. There is nothing mysterious about it. In the end, dreams and karma remind us of our responsibility for our own lives. We cannot fully control our dreams, but we can control the seeds we sow in waking life. Every word, every action, every thought contributes to creating our dream world and our waking world. Therefore, let us practice sowing seeds of mindfulness in each moment. As the mind gradually settles, dreams become a gentle stream reflecting inner peace. Then dreams are no longer a burden, but companions on the path of awakening. In the journey of exploring dreams, one approach that strongly influences modern thought is psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud, regarded as the father of psychoanalysis, asserted that dreams are the royal road to the unconscious. For him, dream images are not random, but expressions of repressed wishes and memories not accepted by conscious awareness. In dreams, those repressed elements are projected in symbolic form. A closed door may symbolize prohibition, a long journey may evoke the longing for freedom, a chase may reflect the fear of being judged. Carl Gustav Jung, Freud's student and later his critic, expanded this idea. He held that dreams not only reveal personal wishes but also touch a deeper layer, the collective unconscious, which contains symbols shared by all humanity. Jung called these archetypes the mother, the hero, the shadow, the light. The repeated appearance of these images in people's dreams everywhere suggests that our consciousness has a common part that transcends the individual. Thus, a dream is both a gateway to one's personal subconscious and a door opening onto the deep current of humankind. From the psychoanalytic perspective, a dream resembles a stage on which the mind's shadow side appears. Shadow here is not absolute evil, but what has been forgotten, pushed down, and left unilluminated by awareness. It may be desires never acknowledged, fears long buried, or painful memories we dare not recall. By day we hide them with reason and social roles. By night they return in dreams to remind us that we cannot deny ourselves. Buddhism does not use the language of Freud or Jung, yet it does not deny these insights. In Yogacara teaching, each person has a storehouse consciousness that holds countless seeds, wholesome, unwholesome, and neutral, planted over many lifetimes. When conditions are right, these seeds manifest as mental formations, namely feelings, thoughts, and actions. By day we may suppress them and keep them from showing. At night, when conscious vigilance relaxes, they can still arise in dreams. This is very close to the psychoanalytic notion of the subconscious. The important point is that Buddhism does not treat these shadows as something to flee. On the contrary, the Buddha teaches us to illuminate them with wisdom and compassion. If in a dream we see ourselves full of anger, that is a chance to recognize that a seed of anger remains in the heart. If we see ourselves panicked and running away, it is a sign of fears that have not been embraced. Buddhism does not encourage us to decode dreams as good or bad omens. It advises us to use them as a mirror of the mind. Seeing the shadow in a dream is not for becoming afraid, but for knowing we need more light of mindfulness. Consider a simple example. Someone often dreams of being pursued and beaten. For Freud, this may be a repressed wish seeking an outlet. For Jung, it may be the image of the shadow, an aggressive instinct not yet accepted. For Buddhism, it is the seed of fear and violence in the storehouse consciousness. All three approaches share a point. The dream tells us that something in the mind needs to be recognized. If we only avoid it, it will keep returning. If we illuminate it with wisdom, we can embrace it and transform it. For this reason, mindfulness practice becomes the key to approaching the subconscious through dreams. Upon waking, instead of fearfully trying to forget, we can breathe deeply and ask, "What does this dream show me in the depths of my mind?" Then we note it without judgment. With acceptance and compassion, the shadow is gradually brought into the light. Like a room long shut, once the door opens and the lamp is lit, the darkness is no longer frightening. The fundamental difference between Buddhism and psychoanalysis lies in the goal. Freud is concerned with explanation and psychological healing. Buddhism goes further. It seeks not only to recognize and transform the shadow, but also to free us entirely from identification with all mental formations, whether bright or dark. In contemplation, we see not only that we are angry, afraid, or craving. We also see that all these states are impermanent and without self-nature, only waves rising on the surface of the ocean of mind. When this insight matures, we are no longer controlled, and that is true freedom. Dreams and the subconscious are therefore a doorway, not so that we remain busy analyzing, but so that we learn to illuminate with wisdom. If the shadow appears in a dream, smile, breathe in and out, recognize it, and let it go. If a dream brings peace, do not cling to it. See it as the natural fruit of wholesome seeds sprouting. Most important of all, use the dream as an opportunity to return to yourself, to understand yourself, and to nourish the light of awareness. In the end, dreams remind us that everyone carries a vast subconscious within, containing both beauty and shadow. Psychoanalysis calls this the personal and collective unconscious. Buddhism calls it the storehouse consciousness. Whatever the language, the message is the same. Do not deny it, do not fear it. Shine wisdom and compassion upon it. When the shadow is faced, it becomes the material for growth. When the light of mindfulness shines, the subconscious is no longer a mystery, but a field where we can plant the seeds of freedom and awakening. Throughout our exploration of dreams, we have seen that dreaming is not only a brain game. nor merely a collection of scattered memories. A dream is a mirror of the inner life, and when the mind is nourished in stability, the dream grows peaceful. The saying, "a peaceful mind brings peace to all things," is true not only in waking life, but also in sleep. Those who have practiced meditation for a long time often sleep deeply and have fewer disturbed dreams. When the mind is trained to settle, idle thought streams diminish. By day they return to the breath, recognize emotions, and do not let worries and anger linger. By night, lying down with a relaxed body and a released mind, sleep naturally becomes steady and calm. In that state, dreams, if they arise, are gentle, like soft breezes that do not ruffle the lake's surface. The reverse is also true. When the mind is agitated by day, dreams are turbulent by night. One who clings to anger dreams of quarrels. One who is fearful dreams of running away. One who nourishes greed dreams of endless seeking that is never enough. Dreams do not come from afar. They continue the mind of the day. Meditation, which helps the mind become clear and still, directly improves the quality of dreams. A pure mind is like a crystal stream. Any image mirrored upon it appears clear. A person who practices mindfulness does not always stop dreaming, but their dreams often carry a gentle tone and contain peace. Some recount that after days of diligent practice, they dream of sitting in meditation under a tree, hearing wind and birdsong, the whole body suffused with peace. This is not only a dream, it is a sign of a mind being healed. There are also dreams with deep spiritual symbolism. Many practitioners have dreamed of meeting the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, receiving teachings, or being sheltered in compassionate light. Buddhism does not regard these dreams as supernatural manifestations in a mystical sense. It sees them as the natural expression of faith and aspiration. When the seed of faith is nourished fully, it can appear in dreams in the form of images of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That is the fruit of a purified mind that knows how to rely on what is wholesome. A monk once shared that during years of intensive practice, he often dreamed he had wandered into danger. But right then, the image of the Buddha appeared, laid a hand on his shoulder, and the fear dissolved. He awoke with a feeling of peace and a deeper faith in spiritual refuge. That dream, he said, was not the Buddha coming from outside, but the seed of faith and abiding that had ripened within the storehouse consciousness. In fact, we can all experience this. When by day we plant wholesome thoughts, live with compassion, and practice forgiveness, by night we are more likely to have gentle dreams. When we recite sutras, chant the Buddha's name, or simply sit quietly and breathe softly before sleep, the dreams that follow are often clearer. This is the direct link between practice and the quality of sleep. First, when the mind is at peace, dreams are peaceful. This principle is simple yet profound and verifiable in anyone's experience. It also teaches an important lesson. If you want peaceful dreams, start with waking life. There is no need to try to control dreams or to force anything. Just live one day in mindfulness, loosen anger and craving, and naturally the dreams will soften. Dreams are a continuation of the stream of consciousness. When the water is clear, the reflections upon it are clear. And even if in a dream we meet the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, the point is not to take it as a lucky omen, but to use it as motivation to keep practicing. For if our mind can generate that image, then we ourselves have the capacity to cultivate compassion and wisdom in real life. The dream becomes a reminder. Keep guarding purity so that the light appears not only in dreams, but right in the midst of daily living. In the end, we can say that dreams are not a separate realm, but an extension of mind. As the mind is, so the dream is. When the mind is calm, dreams are calm. When the mind is chaotic, dreams are chaotic. If we want gentle dreams, we should begin by caring for each thought, each word, and each action throughout the day. And if we are fortunate enough to dream of the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, let us smile, knowing this is the blossoming of faith and purity within our own hearts. If what we plant by day is what we reap by night, then the moments before sleep are the most fertile soil for sowing wholesome seeds. Practicing mindfulness before bed not only helps us sleep deeply, but also creates the conditions for tender dreams and a light mind. This is a simple yet highly practical method, for sleep takes up a third of our lives, and its quality directly affects the quality of our waking life. The first step is to settle the breath. After a long day, the mind is often laden with worries, concerns, and fragments of thought. If we carry all of that into sleep, it will keep churning, producing jumbled dreams, even nightmares. So before lying down, take a few minutes to sit quietly or lie comfortably, attending to the breath. Breathing in, know you are breathing in. Breathing out, know you are breathing out. Just a few mindful breaths and the tensions in body and mind begin to release. Next is letting go of troubles. Imagine taking off heavy layers of clothing, words left unsaid, tasks unfinished, worries about tomorrow. All can be set aside because now is the time for rest. We may quietly say, I release everything so that body and mind may be at ease. This letting go is not escape. It is giving the mind a chance to recover. Tomorrow, upon waking, we can return to our tasks with a clearer mind. A very helpful practice before sleep is to recite the Buddha's name, chant a short verse, or cultivate compassion. Buddha recitation is not only for the elderly or monastics. Anyone can softly recite with a pure heart. Gently repeat, Namo Amitabha Buddha, or Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. The recitation becomes a wave that settles the mind into ease, allowing wandering thoughts to subside. If you like, you can chant a short verse. The day has ended. I release my worries. May body and mind be peaceful in sleep. Simple lines, yet deeply consoling and centering. In addition, loving-kindness meditation is wonderful before bed. Sit or lie comfortably and silently send loving energy to yourself and all beings. May I be safe and well. May my loved ones be safe and well. May all beings be safe and well. When the heart is filled with kindness, tension dissolves and sleep becomes gentle. Modern science also shows that people who practice compassion tend to have fewer nightmares, for there is less room in the mind for hatred and resentment. Mindfulness before sleep can be combined with small, practical steps. Dim the lights to quiet the room. Avoid looking at phones or screens right before bed, as blue light and a flood of information agitate the mind. Instead, create a pleasant space, a soft lamp, a warm cup of tea, a light piece of music. A wholesome outer environment supports the inner mind, making practice easier. Maintaining this habit brings a clear change, deeper sleep, fewer turbulent dreams, and when dreams do arise, they tend to be lucid and gentle. Some people share that since reciting the Buddha's name before bed, they often dream of being in a temple, hearing the bell, or meeting loved ones with serene smiles. This is a direct sign that the mind is being nourished by wholesome qualities. It is important not to turn practice into pressure. If on some nights you are too tired and only manage a few breaths before sleep, that is enough. Mindfulness is not an achievement, but a homecoming. Even a few minutes of returning is precious and has already planted wholesome seeds in your sleep. Do not demand, I must have a beautiful dream, or I must be free of nightmares. Simply practice with a peaceful heart, and the dream will naturally mirror that ease, no forcing needed. Mindfulness before sleep also reminds us of a deeper truth. Life is impermanent, like a great dream. Each night we enter sleep as a small death. Each morning we wake as a rebirth. If we live each night and each morning with mindfulness, then our entire life becomes meaningful and peaceful. Therefore, treat the moments before bed as a sacred ritual. It need not be complicated, just a few breaths, a short verse, or a quiet sending of love. That simple moment opens the door to deep sleep and wholesome dreams. More importantly, it gradually nurtures a mindful life in which each day and each night is filled with awareness and ease. Try recalling a dream you once had. In the dream, everything was vivid. We laughed, we cried, we were afraid, we were happy. But upon waking, all disappeared without a trace. Life is the same. Today we are living, worrying, loving, suffering. Every feeling is real in the present. Yet when death comes or conditions change, all dissolves, leaving only faint memories. In essence, life is also a great dream, just longer than the nights. The resemblance between dream and waking lies in the fact that all experience is conditioned by causes and conditions. In dreams, memories and emotions, together with neural turbulence, converge into a vivid realm. In waking life, Countless causes, circumstances, people, karmic forces converge to create our situation. Nothing exists independently. Everything is a temporary assemblage. When the conditions disperse, the phenomena disperse. The dream vanishes when we wake. Life vanishes when the final breath ends. Seen in this way, we perceive the fragility of everything we clutch. A house, a job, a relationship, seemingly solid, yet in truth like a sandcastle on the shore, dissolving with the next wave. This truth can frighten many, but for one with insight it is a door to freedom. Knowing that all is like a dream, we cling less. We love without trying to possess. We work wholeheartedly without binding ourselves. We live fully without being swept away. An awakened person knows they are living in a great dream, not to deny life, but to live with lightness and freedom. They are no longer tightly bound by praise and blame, gain and loss. An insult is but a passing dream. A great joy is also like a dream. Everything comes and goes. Thus they remain composed. There is a Zen story. A master asked his student, "If in a dream you are a king, and upon waking you are just an ordinary person, which is real?" The student was silent. The master said, "Both are only dreams. A short dream you call a nighttime dream. A long dream you call life." Hearing this, the student was awakened. Mindfulness practice helps us see this clearly in each moment. When angry, ask yourself, will this anger last forever? When happy, ask, how long will this joy remain? The answer is that all is impermanent, and because it is impermanent, it is dreamlike. Seeing this, we still experience our feelings fully, but we are not enslaved by them. Life is like a dream does not mean living carelessly or irresponsibly. On the contrary, knowing that everything is fragile, we cherish the present more. We love our dear ones more deeply because nothing lasts forever. We live kindly because what we do will also fade like a dream. Only the imprint of wholesome or unwholesome karma remains. And we suffer less because we understand that every loss will pass like a bad dream dissolving at dawn. Thus, comparing dream and life is not to deny life's value, but to remind us to awaken. The small dream reminds us of the great dream. Seeing clearly that life is also dependently arisen, we no longer cling. The awakened person lives within this great dream without getting lost, without delusion, always illuminated by a knowing light. That is freedom, the true peace that mindfulness brings. If in earlier sections we invoked dreams as a metaphor for life, we can now arrive at a key point. Awakening is not only for sleep and dreams, but for every instant of daily life. We need not wait for night to contemplate, nor for a nightmare to wake us. In each breath, each step, each glance, we can practice. In truth, we daydream a great deal. We dream of tomorrow's success, of yesterday's glory, of a happiness we think we must attain to be at ease. While walking down the street, the body is here but the mind roams elsewhere. These are daytime dreams, fantasies the mind spins, and we take as real. Without mindfulness, we are easily swept into them, just as in sleep we take dream scenes as reality. The Buddha teaches that all phenomena are impermanent and unstable. When we forget this, we live in illusion. We think a relationship will last forever, yet it changes. We think a joyful feeling will stay forever, yet it fades. As with dreams, all things arise from conditions and then vanish. Therefore, every moment of life can be illusory if we are not aware. Mindfulness is daytime lucid dreaming. When walking and knowing you are walking, that is a moment of awakening. When breathing and knowing you are breathing, that is a moment of awakening. When angry and knowing, I am angry, that too is awakening. This knowing prevents us from identifying with fantasies and being dragged by them. Instead of living in dreams of past and future, we return to the present, to what is happening now. A mindful person is like someone who knows they are dreaming in a lucid dream. The scene still appears, but they are not carried away. They are free to choose their response rather than be controlled. Insulted, they can breathe and smile instead of flaring up. Praised, they remain even-minded, not intoxicated. Awakening moment by moment brings such great freedom. How do we sustain this? Not by gripping tightly, but by gently returning. Each time we notice we have wandered into fantasy, we simply take a deep breath and smile. I am here. That very recognition is awakening. No need to scold ourselves for dreaming. Just know we were dreaming and come back. Gradually, we return more quickly and more often, until every moment of life is infused with mindfulness. Try practicing in small things. When washing your hands, know you are washing your hands. Feel the cool water on your skin. When eating, know you are eating. Savor the taste with gratitude. When speaking, know you are speaking. When listening, know you are listening. Every small action can be a doorway to awakening. As we link many mindful moments, our whole life becomes a stream of mindfulness. Some ask, does that mean we must be tense and rigid, constantly remembering what we are doing? In fact, mindfulness is not tension, it is relaxed knowing. Like enjoying a piece of music, you don't strain to remember you are listening. You are simply fully present with the sound. Mindfulness is the same, not grim effort, but natural presence, wholly with this moment. Awareness in each instant also reveals impermanence and non-attachment. Knowing this moment is unique and unrepeatable, we treasure it more. A glance, a smile, a sunset. If we are awake, everything becomes profound. If we are lost in dreams, we miss it and later regret. Thus, awakening in each moment is not only spiritual practice, but a way to live fully, without regret. The awakened know that life is a great dream, yet they are not pessimistic. They still live, love, and work, but with a clear mind. Unbound by illusions, they are free in everything they do. They can cry when sad and laugh when happy, but deep down they know that all are passing waves, and that knowing brings steady peace. Therefore, awakening in each moment is the key to escaping life's illusions. No need to wait for nightfall or for a nightmare to strike. Right now, in this breath, in this step, we can awaken. Every instant is a chance to wake up, to step out of the daydream, to return to the true life present within and around us. After a long journey of viewing dreams from many angles, philosophy, science, psychoanalysis, Buddhism, and lived practice, we can pause to contemplate more deeply. What, ultimately, do dreams teach us? On the obvious level, a dream is a reflection of the mind. It shows us what we carry within, whether we are conscious of it or not. On a deeper level, a dream is a lesson in awakening, a mirror by which we examine and understand the very nature of this life itself. When we look into dreams, we see clearly that everything is only imagery created by the mind. They may be vivid, yet they have no solid foundation. Upon waking, all disappears. So it is with this life. What we are holding, fame, wealth, happiness, suffering, are like dream scenes. Here, then gone. This can make us sad or disappointed. But if we contemplate deeply, we will see this is a liberating truth. Knowing all is dreamlike, we cling less, suffer less, and can live more freely. Dreams help us reflect on our mind. A bad dream shows we still carry many fears and much anger. A beautiful dream shows that faith and love still dwell within us. We need neither to flee nor to grasp, only to observe and learn. Like someone checking a mirror to adjust their face, we look at dreams to adjust our mind. Each time we do, we take another step on the path of understanding and transformation. But the most important lesson dreams offer is, wake up. Not only wake from the night's dream, but wake from the day's dream, the dream of delusion, of greed, hatred, and ignorance, of the illusion of a solid I. The Buddha likened this life to a great dream. The unawakened chase after dream scenes. The awakened know that scenes arise from conditions, and that very knowing brings peace. Practicing mindfulness is living awake within life's dream. When breathing and knowing you are breathing, when walking and knowing you are walking, you are awakening from the mind's little dreams. When angry and knowing you are angry, when happy and knowing you are happy, you are not swept away and you keep your freedom. Imagine someone in a nightmare, running from an enemy, afraid, exhausted, in pain. The moment they realize this is a dream, the fear dissolves. Life is the same. When we chase after winning and losing, gain and loss, we are weary like that person in a nightmare. But if we can pause, breathe, and recognize that this is only a dependently arisen scene, dreamlike, relief appears at once. Seeing impermanence, we release our grip, and right there is peace. Thus, the message of this entire contemplation can be folded into one reminder. Wake up in every dream, and wake up in this life. Each time you dream, remember it is only a dream. Each time you live, remember life too is like a dream. This knowing does not make us pessimistic. It helps us live more deeply, love more, and be more free. Perhaps, understanding this, we will no longer fear dreams nor fear life. We will cherish each moment, knowing it is as fragile as a dream. We will love those around us more, knowing they too are passing conditions in this great dream. And we will be gentler with ourselves, knowing that both happiness and suffering do not endure. Dreams, therefore, are not merely physiological or psychological phenomena. They are lessons in awakening. They remind us of impermanence, of emptiness, and of the necessity of awareness. If we shine mindfulness upon them, dreams become a silent teacher, showing us how to let go, to understand, to love. When this chain of contemplation draws to a close, what may remain in us is only a soft smile, the smile of one who knows that everything is like a dream, and precisely for that reason, everything is precious. Every night dream, every daydream, and this whole life are chances to awaken. And when we awaken, we no longer seek happiness in dreams. We find happiness in awareness itself, right in the present moment.